This is Jack Burton in the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there. Just listen to the old Pork Chop Express and take his advice on a dark and stormy night, alright? When there's some wild-eyed, 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against the barroom wall, looks you crooked in the eyes and asks you if you paid your dues, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye. And you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir, the check is in the mail.
Listen closely. Old walls still speak.
Some things are hidden, not to be forgotten, but to be kept.
The old house remembers what others forget.
What is remembered is never truly gone.
Listen closely, and you too may just hear voices from the attic. Hi, welcome back to Voices from the Attic. I'm Terry Reed. I'm an author, podcaster, researcher, grandma, and mom.
I am Andrew T. Reed. I'm an editor, researcher, YouTuber, podcaster, enthusiast of all things paranormal, and a big old giant nerd. Also, I'm a son, and I am a good movie enthusiast, which is why we used that quote for the cold open, because I felt like it was an appropriate quote to use for today's topic.
We're talking about truck drivers.
Which, as we all know, Jack Burton is the most iconic truck driver that experienced paranormal happenings in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Well, he had big trouble in Little China. That's absolutely right. He experienced all that big trouble. Great movie, by the way. If you haven't watched Big Trouble Little China,
it's a classic.
Highly recommend it.
Yep.
I personally think that because we have the collector's edition box set. It was a DVD or is it blue? I think it's DVD. I don't think we got it when it was Blu-ray. We have when you make it HD, you can. Because you could already see some of the effects early on, but when you make it HD, you can see even more of the special effects behind it. I personally think that's part of the charm. I think the entire movie is it's a really well acted B movie, and it's just so good. And it's also got Kurt Russell, which any movie with Kurt Russell just adds extra goodness to it. So anyway, but we're not talking about Kurt Russell or that movie. We're just talking about truckers. But before we talk about that, let's do some housekeeping.
So, now this is the week after 4th of July. Mm-hmm. So we hope you had a really great 4th of July, and
hopefully you don't have too much tinnitus from all the fireworks. Honestly, I know when I was living in Utah, the entire month of July and also June was just an excuse for people to shoot fireworks as much as they wanted. Because you also have Pioneer Day later on, and all those things. So really, even though 4th of July is the fireworks holiday, there's probably a good amount of people who are listening who are still experiencing fire. At least if you are in the United States, you're probably still experiencing a bunch of fireworks.
And it was the big 250. So
yes,
that's way cool.
That's right. Our country is 250 years old.
Yep.
Which sounds old,
but compared to other countries,
we're pretty young.
Babies.
Yeah, we're infants.
Yes. Europe says, "Hold my beer."
That's right, exactly.
And the voice you just heard was Ash, the man with the facts. Ash, the knower of all things, who is also our sound producer and just overall awesome guy.
Yeah.
Still stuck in the back rooms.
Still stuck
in the back rooms. It's okay though, because he is with Jack Burton specifically. I would love to see that movie. Jack Burton goes into the back rooms. There's I imagine some of the back rooms there has to be like that garage.
But opener. I was going to say there's those. He almost was in the back rooms because it was in those hidden rooms and those basement areas. Remember?
That's fair. Underground and everything. Yeah, but I still even think because the end of the movie, spoilers, kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and I think it was intentional. I don't think they were planning on making a sequel to it because,
Choose your own adventure.
Mm-hmm.
You get to decide.
But I would love to see Jack Burton entering the back rooms and just like taking a shotgun to everything. You know, I know that's not necessarily a style, but
I thought we weren't talking about
I know.
Big Trouble in Little China.
I can't help it. I'll stop talking about it for now.
So we're talking about, and this was one of our listeners suggested it, that we talk about truck driver paranormal experiences. And so, of course, as we're getting everything ready, we're thinking about all the truck driver songs that we know. Convoy, Driving My Life Away. What were some of the other ones, Ash, that you...
Life is a highway. I want to ride all night long. I don't know if that's a truck driver song, but it's a driving song.
It's a driving song.
All right, here we go. Six days on the road.
Okay.
I like that one. Give Me 40 Acres. CB Savage. I like CB Savage.
Ooh, that sounds like a good DJ name. CB Savage.
40 Miles of Bad Road. Man Behind the Wheel. How Fast Them Trucks Can Go. Widowmaker. Roll Truck Roll. Passing Zone Blues.
Ooh.
Just to name a few.
Just
there are
to name
many,
a few.
many more.
And there will be more in the future as well, assuming, we don't automate that too. It sounds like people are trying, but, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
But
so, so we kind of moved from housekeeping quickly into story.
We should probably go back to housekeeping.
Let's go back to housekeeping.
Yeah.
So, welcome. So we're still recording a couple weeks before you're seeing this, so we don't know if we've made 100 subscribers yet, but we're assuming that
of course,
you did.
Yeah, we've already hit. In fact, I'm guessing we've gotten 500 subscribers by now, or more.
Yes,
so,
exactly.
Prove me right, internet. Prove me right.
So please subscribe, like, comment. If you've got some stories that the comment section is too small for, go ahead and email us.
Yeah. In fact, I didn't say that last time.
You didn't say it last time, but you can say it now.
We would love to hear any stories or any thoughts, inputs from you guys on our email. Our email is VTFattic, Voices from the Attic. That's what it stands for. VTFattic@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your stories. And by this time, my next book in the Mary O'Reilly Alden Mora series will be released, and it's The Secrets of Black Ridge Crossing.
So check that out.
Check that out, too.
We won't, honestly, we should have done train stories because of Black Ridge Crossing, but we're not doing that today.
That's right. Someday we will.
Someday we will. Also, thank you, everyone who has already subscribed. We know we already talked about subscribers, but seriously, if you're liking what you're listening to and you haven't subscribed, we would really, really appreciate it. It will help our channel grow, and it'll help us as the channel grows. It'll help us be able to do more with it.
Go to Croatia and check out really scary cryptids.
Yeah, or just be able to get more books to research and things like that too.
That's true.
Other things. We'll just have more access to more resources. So we would love for your help. And all you got to do is just hit that subscribe button and right. watch the video. If you're listening, if you're liking it and listening to it, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody who's been sharing it. I've been getting a lot of comments saying, "Oh, somebody shared campfire stories with me, and I really love it, so I subscribed." So please, if you love this and if you have friends who would love it, let them know.
And if you have friends you don't think would love it, show them anyway, because you never know.
We're not proud.
Yeah. I'll beg. There might be a GIF out there somewhere that we put out there before this comes out where I'm literally on my knees begging you to share it to your friends. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe I won't go that far.
I don't think so.
We'll see. But
that sounds like a good short.
You're right. It would be. Yeah. Please.
Subscribe.
I need you to subscribe.
So truck drivers.
Yes.
We hold kind of a special calling in the United States. I mean, we rely on them for everything. And when we get bad weather and the roads are clogged, you realize how much you rely on truck drivers for because the bread and the milk and everything else that's important when you hit bad weather are not in Walmart anymore because the truck drivers we're in that just in time. We don't have big warehouses next to stores anymore.
Yeah.
So we need those truck drivers. which means that they travel across the country in the dead of night.
Constantly.
We've
talked about other jobs that would require you to have paranormal experiences before. One of the concepts that we talk about a lot with other jobs is that liminal space. We have hospitals kind of being a liminal space between life and death, because a lot of people are coming into this world and a lot of people are leaving this world in hospitals. Police officers going into places, on that line of life and death, kind of living there constantly because you're going out into danger. Truck drivers, I think, are in a similar space, but it's a little different because, like you're saying, we rely on truck drivers, but truck drivers also have a very difficult job that we sometimes don't even think about. They are driving all hours of the night,
right?
Constantly. A lot of the stories that at least I found, I'm sure you probably found similar things. A lot of them talk about exhaustion. They talk about the fact that as they're driving, sometimes they'll beat themselves up because they were so exhausted. They have to hit certain deadlines, and in order to do that, they have to push their bodies past the point of exhaustion. And it's not like they can, you're sitting stationary. There's very little you can do to keep yourself awake other than,
you can't go outside and take a walk.
Yeah.
But actually, some of these stories are where they've pulled off.
Right.
And they've pulled off in interesting places.
Yes, and that's the other. Yeah, so they're going onto parts of the road or areas where a lot of people don't go to. They they have no reason to really travel to these places, and so they're in stretches of land that aren't touched by many people. But then on top of that as well, talk about. We've mentioned this concept before. Talk about liminal space. If a liminal space is a threshold of moving from one place to another, that is literally the definition of a truck. It is a vehicle that is meant to transport goods from one place to another. Technically speaking, you could consider a truck a whole liminal entity, a whole liminal.
Isn't it a highway though?
Highway would also. I think both
roads would be liminal spaces. So
I think both.
You have a liminal space on a liminal. Yeah. Liminal squared.
Yeah. 2 times the liminal. 2 times the flavor. That's what the paranormal encounters. So there are definitely going to be many different. Talking about flavors, many different flavors of paranormal encounters that these guys have. I think. I know for me, I've got everything from ghosts to cryptids.
Right.
I've even got one that is a
UAP. I've got UAPs.
There are a lot of UAPs. I try to avoid the UAPs.
Oh, I got the UAPs.
I feel like there's so many of those.
Right.
And so I'm glad that you've got that covered. No, I'm talking about a time.
Time slip.
A time slip. I've got one of those. Well, it's less of a time slip, but more of a location slip, and we'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah.
So I'm going to start.
Go for
that's
it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is Australian. So I might, I will do the best I can with
there are a lot
pronunciation.
There are a lot of hard things to pronounce in
That's right.
Yeah, I remember doing an Australian truck story in the past, and so Ash just jumped, and that made me scared.
It said Australian truckers. So there's a Hugh Jackman movie where he's an Australian trucker and he writes romance novels.
Oh, cool.
I don't remember the name of it. It's on YouTube.
Okay. Well,
I just want to say it before I forgot. So if anybody's ever seen it, check it out.
Yeah.
Comment.
If you know, it's fun. If you know what the movie is called, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah. I do want to see the new Hugh Jackman one with the sheep detective. I don't know when that's coming out, but it might have already.
It could have. But I have no clue.
That looks like. Did you?
I actually haven't seen too much about that one.
So Hugh Jackman is a sheep herder in Australia. I'm assuming.
Also known as a shepherd.
Right. Thank you. And he lives out in like a mobile home with all the sheep, and at night he reads detective whodunits to the sheep. They all come along over, and does he die? He's murdered.
There's been a murder,
and the sheep solve the murder.
I love that. Actually, that sounds.
I can't wait. I mean, yeah.
It sounds. There's a pun. There's a pun sitting here. Hold on.
It sounds woolly adorable.
That's good.
Thank
That's
you.
good. it sounds like detective movies are back.
That's very good.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll be here all week.
Try the veal. Actually, don't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And now, back to the truck driver stories.
Okay. One night in 2021, a trucker in Australia was doing an express run on the Newell Highway from Melbourne to Toowoomba. Newell Highway is a long stretch of road in the southeast of Australia. And while the landscape at parts is diverse, ranging from rolling hills to little farms to small towns, there are long stretches that feel totally desolate, with only the occasional roadside stop or sign of wildlife. So doing long hauls at night in a truck can start to feel mind-numbing with not too much to look at. Outside of the truck, it can be so dark that it feels like an abyss is surrounding the driver. At least that's how the trucker, who we'll call Jeff, felt. The sound of the truck engine and the empty landscape was starting to lull him to sleep after his long day on the two-lane road. Earlier, he had spoken to his manager, who assured him he could pull over if he got tired. The manager warned him that the stretch of highway Jeff was currently on was so monotonous that few truckers could do the whole stretch in one night.
Do.
That works too. Monotonous.
Yeah, even though it's monotonous, not monotona, but
right.
Yeah.
Even though few truckers could do the whole stretch in one night, it wasn't worth the safety risk for Jeff to keep going. So he decided that at the next truck stop, he was going to pull over and get some rest. His headlights shined out into the darkness as he looked for a sign, when all of a sudden, out in the distance, he saw that his lights were reflecting back off of something. It was the whites of two beady little eyes. At first, he thought it must be an animal, but as he got closer, he could see that it was a woman standing on the side of the road.
This actually, I think it's not the same exact story, but I think it might be the same entity as we'll see. Is it a bag lady?
Jeff looked around the landscape. There weren't any cars pulled over. He hadn't seen a house for miles. Where had this woman come from?
Ugh.
He immediately thought of an old wives' tale he had heard about trucking, that sometimes people will set traps. A woman will stand on the side of the road with her thumb out, waiting for a kind trucker to stop and help her. And just as one would pull over, a man would jump out from the woods behind her and they'd rob the driver, or worse. And there's a lot of stories about the or worses.
Yeah.
But as Jeff's truck rolled up to the woman, she looked frail and helpless. It didn't look like there was anyone hiding behind her in the shadows. This woman legitimately looked like she needed help. He rolled down the window and gave a nod. Hop in. The woman slowly climbed up to the door and popped it open. Once she crawled into the cab, Jeff got a much better look at her, and he felt the energy inside the cab change. She had thin, wiry hair, and her skin was so sunken in that she almost looked like a corpse. Dark circles underscored her bloodshot eyes, and dirt was caked around her mouth. Her clothes were tattered and filthy. It looked like she had climbed out of a ditch. She didn't say anything to the driver, just stared forward at the open road, almost like she was looking for something. 10 minutes went by in complete silence. Jeff was practically praying for a gas station or a hotel or anywhere he could drop this woman off, but there was nothing. When all of a sudden, the woman slowly raised her arm and pointed up the road to an unlit area. Here, she said. You want me to drop you off there? Jeff asked, and the woman nodded her head. So he pulled over to the side of the road. The woman got out and slowly walked off towards some trees in complete darkness.
Ugh.
Eventually, Jeff got to the next town. It's Narabi, where he pulled over and fell asleep. The stench of the woman still thick in his cab. The next morning, he was grabbing coffee at the stop with a group of truckers, and he brought up the strange woman he had seen the night before. She must have been on drugs or having a psychotic break, Jeff suggested. He thought that would get a laugh from the group, but he saw one of the guys looked pale and his eyes were wide. Without missing a beat, the guy rattled off the markers on the highway near where Jeff picked up and dropped off the woman. How did the guy know that? Then he said something that made Jeff's blood run cold. She's not real. He went on to tell Jeff that other truckers had seen that same woman in the area, always at the same markers, and she always asked to get dropped off at the same spot near some trees. One driver had done some digging after hearing her story and found out that a woman had died in a particularly bad car wreck in 2014 on the highway near where the woman is always seen. They all just assumed it was her. Jeff laughed at the guy. He was clearly just trying to scare him. Every truck driver has some scary story or something they'd seen, and most of them were just urban legends. When Jeff finally made it back home after his assignment, his boss called him into the office. He said he had heard from another driver that Jeff had picked up a woman on the side of the road. A huge no-no. Jeff tried to explain himself. The woman looked like she had been in an accident, like she needed help. But it didn't matter. The boss wanted him to come to the office. He had pulled the surveillance footage from the cab of Jeff's truck and had it up on his computer. He needed Jeff to show him at what point he stopped for the woman. Jeff started scrubbing through the footage until he got to the part where he stopped for the woman. And he and his boss watched in horror as the video showed Jeff pull the truck over, the door opened, and no one got inside. 10 minutes later, he pulled over again with no one in his passenger seat, and the door opened once more. His boss had this look on his face that was almost a smile, like he had seen this before. And he said, "Looks like you met the princess of Pilliga."
Pilliga Princess.
Yes, the Pilliga Princess.
Mm-hmm.
So many people have seen this apparition on the side of Newell Highway that she's earned herself a name, the Princess of Pilliga. Mm-hmm. Some reports, like what the truckers told him after the encounter, say she is the ghost of a woman who died in a car wreck in 2014. Others say it's the ghost of a woman who was hit by a truck in 1993, Claire Wibson. Either way, the amount of people who have reported seeing her is staggering.
So, I don't know if it went back. Ash has got something.
I gotta readjust the camera.
Oh,
It's been Finn.
yeah. Finn wanted to do the staggering part. Staggering.
Yeah. For those, did you pause it?
Yeah, it's paused because he's got to fix the camera.
Gotcha.
I'll fix the camera. We're about 22:20.
Okay. So you did pause it, or is it still going?
It's rolling.
Okay.
22,
Yeah. So I might even. Yeah. For those. Oh, there's Ash. If I don't edit this out, so like the last episode, we do have our dog up here with us. He was just so sad, but he's actually been pretty chill. So we might end up.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. So
do you want to do a quick rant, Finn?
Oh.
Dog cam. Can you actually see him?
He's got a little scratch on his face.
Does he?
Yeah, look at you.
Oh.
Actually, this camera's not on. That one is.
Okay.
Oh, that's awkward.
Okay.
So we just did that for nothing.
Okay, well, good.
That's all right. But
All right.
so we do have Finn with us. I might do a little bit of. I might take some footage later, or even take. We'll see. For the podcast listeners, they don't even care.
Do you keep hearing that, like the thump sound?
I have my headphones.
Oh, that's right.
I actually haven't, but I haven't been paying attention.
Okay.
Maybe you're just hallucinating.
I could totally be doing that.
Yeah. We can do this.
Okay.
But yeah.
Finn cam.
Okay.
Yeah,
Finn cam.
so Finn has been up here with us, and he bumped the camera. So I don't know if while you were talking in the middle of what you were saying, he bumped the camera.
It was after I had finished, and I said staggering. Then
staggering.
He did it on cue.
For emphasis.
That's right.
Emphasis on the
Staggering?
correct syllable.
Syllable. Thank you.
So,
Okay, how are we doing, Ash? We good?
Yes, we are.
okay.
All right.
No, but what I was gonna say is, so that I don't know if it's the same. Well, I shared a very similar story to the one you just shared on the episode. I think it was the episode 8 Vanishing Hitchhiker story.
Oh, Okay, brilliant.
Because it is a vanishing hitchhiker
it is,
as well.
She is, yes.
And it's a lot of the same. So let's see. Let me just go through. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just curious about the details to see if they line up. If you wouldn't mind checking these out as well.
Okay, I'll pull this back.
Truckee, I mainly do all road terrain, work from Brisbane up around the top of Australia to Perth. And so along the Nullarbor. So different trucker, potentially. Right. Though the ending is very similar. So we'll see.
Okay. And so, you know what? Because these stories, it's amazing when you get a story and then you look at other places, how often a story is repeated and just changed slightly.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the ending specifically is that raises, I won't say the red flag, but there are a lot of similar details, including having to talk to the boss and the footage situation. Okay. So this guy says he never ventured into Vic and NSW, New South Wales. Okay. But he had to run an express run to Melbourne via Sydney and had to come up the Newell Highway, which we know that's the correct highway.
That's the one.
To collect a load for Toowoomba.
And that it was for Toowoomba.
Toowoomba, okay. My boss said with a giggle, I don't mind if you pull up Before you get around Coonabarabran? Coonabarabran or Coonabarabran, because some drivers choose not to drive that at night.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
Yep. So he was in between Coonabarabran and Nuraby, and a woman out of nowhere flagged me down for hitchhiking.
I want to say I did have there. Yeah, Jeff got to the next town, Narrabri.
Yeah,
Narrabri.
Nurabri. Nurabri is what my pronunciation is.
Yes.
Yeah, my pronunciation is Nuhruhbry. So
okay,
Nurabri. But when he was between Coonabarabran and Nurabri. Man, I'm butchering these names so bad, but he was between those two places, which means he was before that city, Nurabri. And a couple of the other details. She stunk. He said she stunk like nothing I'd smelt before, and the cab was destroyed with the stench. She didn't say a word, just gazed ahead.
Right.
20 kilometers down the road, not passing one vehicle, the old woman said, "Here it is," and I had to stop in a gully. And she went off with a bag. No thanks, nothing. I looked around. There was nothing in sight. So similar.
So she's the Australian Resurrection Mary.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then similar thing. He gets to Nurabri, talks to other truckies. There's thinking.
And they tell him the same story.
Yep. And then so this one, it says I explained to him the cab was absolutely stinking for the hitchhiker. And he went pale white and told me exactly where it happened. I told him, "Yes, mate." And he said, "Mate, that nutter was run over." I love the, it sounds wrong in our Midwestern American accent, but I can't do an Australian accent yet. I can't do it with proper justice. I might practice one of these days, but not right now. Anyway, that nutter was run over back in 1993 by a truck. So
yeah, that goes with it.
This story says it was in 2014. So
both.
There is a story of somebody getting hit in 2014. This post, which is Reddit, it's on r/truckers. This post says that it was this experience he had was in 2014, which is the same year that accident happened.
And so this says, some woman had died in a particularly bad car wreck in 2014. But you're right. Then they go and talk about Claire Wibson in 1993.
Then, he tells his boss. The boss kind of laughs and says you can basically like, hey, it sounds like you need a drink. Go to the fridge. There's some drinks in the fridge. And he shows. So the boss shows him the camera footage in the truck, and it only shows the passenger door open by itself and closed by itself as he's looking across, talking to what looks like thin air. So similar, but some of the details are slightly different. That is interesting. I I don't know if that means that they are the same story, just slightly changed, or if it's two different people who had very similar experiences.
Well, and it says the amount of people who've reported it is staggering. So it could be just two truckers.
Yeah.
Same route because it's a popular route.
I'm curious about. I'd want to do some research. I'm curious about Newell Road, and because I want to know where that stretch of road is.
Yeah.
If it's outside of the Outback or if it's in the Outback, because I know that the Outback is just a terrifying place.
Well, it says it goes through towns. It goes through.
Right. So it probably isn't. It's probably on the coast. Because it makes sense that truckers would feel obligated to help someone out who was walking in the Outback in the middle of nowhere.
Right. He says the landscape is ranging from rolling hills to little farms to small towns, but there are long stretches that feel totally desolate. So, yeah. All right, so let's move on.
Yeah. There are a few different sources, a few different places that I pulled, 3 primary sources that I pulled from, well, I won't say they're primary sources, but they are sources that I primarily used for this. And one of them is the Truckers Report website.
Okay.
There are 2 different, there's a lot of different forums on there. It's a website specifically for truckers. But the 2 forums that I found that would help with these are people asking truckers for either mysterious events that happened on the road or paranormal, they specifically say paranormal encounters that happened on the road. And so these are reported directly from, I won't say the horse's mouth, but from the truckers themselves. And this one, I actually really like this one.
Okay.
So we're going to start off strong, at least for my stories. We've already started off strong with 2 stories already. So back in 99, I was coming out of Needles headed to Barstow at around 1 or 2 in the morning. Just got over the big hill and was cruising pretty. He says cruising pretty good. He spells it pretty.
Okay.
So I'm gonna, cruising pretty good. About 75, no lights behind and none in front. So good to go, or maybe not. Back then, CBs were the thing, and mine was working fine. Well, here's where it gets interesting. I guess I started to fall asleep, with that head bobbing thing. So I drink some more coffee, stir around the seat, and then back staring out the window. Well, then the CB speaker starts saying, Pete. Hey, Pete. And I'm thinking, who is Pete? And forget about it, right? Who's Pete? Whatever. Well, a couple of moments pass by. Wheels are humming. Breathers are whining. And then, clear as a bell at full blast, CB goes, Hey, Pete, wake up!
He repeated, Hey, Pete.
Well done.
Thank you.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
He repeated. But when that happens, he says, head pops up, heart pounding, freaking adrenaline kicks in, and I'm about to go off the road into a mountainside. So he had lulled to sleep in the CB.
Yes.
Anyway.
Saved his life.
Yep. Anyway, steered back onto the road and pulled over to pull the fabric out of, I'm assuming, pull. I didn't get it until now. He has an asterisk. I'm going to repeat what probably the intention was.
Repeat? What?
Repeat. Steered it back on the road and pulled over to pull the fabric out of my ass.
Okay, so it was a butt clincher.
Absolutely, because he says that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
After calming down a cig or 2, got back in and headed to Barstow. But the kicker was, no one was out there, either WB or EB, and not a light anywhere. And
Westbound or eastbound?
Yeah. And we all know CBs can't talk by themselves.
Ooh.
So who was talking to Pete? Who was telling Pete to wake up at that same moment? No one was around. So a lot of people re-commented on that. And this was one of his 2 stories. I didn't do the other story.
Okay.
I just wanted the one. But everyone was like, that was probably, it sounds like a guardian angel.
Right.
Just, they had the wrong name.
He was a busy guy.
Yeah.
Is that Pete or George?
I'm pretty sure it's Pete. It'll work either way.
It'll work. I was driving for Costco a few years back, It was around this time of year. So I'm not sure what this time of year was, but it was
Probably, I would imagine.
at Christmassy time, it sounds like.
Okay, I was going to say, I would imagine it was Halloween if people are sharing these kinds of stories, but it could be Christmas.
We usually took extra toy shipments to various locations due to the holiday season.
Okay.
We're going to say Christmas.
Q4.
Thanksgiving.
Q4
yes.
is, Halloween's still in that Q4.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a call that one of our locations in rural Kentucky needed to restock their giant Spider-Man dolls.
Nice.
They knew I was a fast driver.
Wait, pause. Spider-Man dolls? I'm pretty sure those aren't dolls.
I'm pretty sure those are action figures.
These are actually collectible action figures. I demand the proper respect.
Collectibles.
Yeah, they are more expensive than your house, sir. Sorry, I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's an action figure.
Restock their giant Spider-Man dolls.
Dang. With the digging in the heels. Man, that's fine. Whatever. It's okay. The disrespect, I feel it, but I can accept.
Good. They knew I was a fast driver. So I was given the last minute late night duty. I loaded my truck.
Sorry, late night duty. We've all had those. Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you.
I noticed that. I loaded my truck and headed out on the 265.
Do you load it with duties? I'm sorry. I'm done. That's it. That was the last one. I just needed to say it. Go for it. Tell the spooky truck driver story.
It was around 3 a.m. when I started to have this eerie feeling. I chalked it up to just being tired and popped a couple of no-dos. About 15 minutes later, the road started to fog up. I mean, more so than any other time before or since. It got to the point where I had to pull off to the side and wait. There weren't any other cars on the road, and I was ahead of time, so I figured I could wait until it cleared up a bit. About 5 minutes of sitting still in silence, my truck goes dead.
Ooh.
No lights, no engine, nothing. I try my CB but cannot get anyone on. I check my cell phone and there is no signal. As I'm sitting there contemplating my next move, I hear what sounds like a child crying.
Oh.
It slowly morphed into a woman crying. Or at least that's what it sounded like to me.
And did he say where, what state or
Kentucky.
country? Kentucky.
Well,
Okay.
well, he's driving to Kentucky. So it's somewhere in that Kentucky, Tennessee, wherever he drove for Georgia. I mean, he's trying to get to
the South.
Appalachian.
Eastern side would be Appalachia.
Yeah.
So now I'm a big man, 6'3", 250 pounds, but I refuse to exit my cab.
Good man.
I did roll down my window and ask if anybody needed help.
That's...
At that point, the crying stopped.
Oh, you answered it.
Then I heard what sounded like a sinister laugh. At that point, I felt like the laughter was directed at me. I rolled up my window, and it seemed like the more scared I became, the louder the laugh went. Then, as soon as it started, it stopped. And just like that, my truck started back up and the fog dissipated. I drove out of there like a bat out of hell. I get to the next truck stop and pull in. I run to the bathroom, pour water on my face, and ask myself, did that just really happen?
Ugh.
I know, right?
I think I also have one that takes place in the Appalachian area.
Ooh.
Because there are a lot of highways around that area. Also, the Appalachian area is a very vast area that has a lot of states in it.
Well, I was going to say it starts way up in Maine and goes all the way down to Georgia, almost Florida. So yeah.
Oh, I don't want to do that one quite yet.
Okay.
Technically, the one that is there's a really good one that happens in Virginia, but I'm not going to do that one quite yet. Let's see. Where are you? Because I remember specifically seeing one about, but I could be wrong. It might have been from another one, but that's okay. That's all right. I feel like, no, there's definitely one that I remember.
Do you want to look and want me to do one?
Yeah.
Okay. I was driving through Kansas on I-70 at night when I hit one of the craziest thunderstorms I'd ever seen. It was so bad the road started flooding a bit, and I had to pull into a service plaza and wait it out when the creepy part happened. I was sitting in the truck watching the storm. There's a series of lightning strikes followed by a blackout. Suddenly, a massively bright light starts moving behind the clouds. Too slowly to be an aircraft, but too fast to be a part of the storm system. It moves up over the hills and trees before crossing directly overhead, then disappears a bit behind the service plaza. The transit from tree line to plaza took maybe 5 to 10 minutes tops, and while it was overhead, it cast everything in an eerie blue glow and lit up the parking lot. I seriously thought aliens were invading. Anyway, within 10 minutes of the creepy light disappearing, the rain completely stopped and the parking lot lights came back on. Like someone flipped a switch. I got out of there while looking in my mirrors for spaceships or those alien walkers from War of the Worlds.
Jeez. That's... What area was that one? Did they
Kansas,
say?
I-70 on Kansas. I've driven that road.
So it's Midwest.
Yeah. Yep. Did you find it?
I did not find specifically. I think the place that I thought was the story. There was a story that I found last night, but I don't think it was for this episode.
Oh, okay.
It was for the one that we already did, and we didn't use that story. But that's okay, because that will be later on. But I did find one.
Okay.
It's not in the Appalachian area. I do think that the really it's a longer one, so I'm going to wait for a little bit until because it's also, not the normal spooky haunting stuff. It's the time slip thing, and so that one does take place, like I said, in Virginia, which is at the very least close to Appalachian area.
Okay.
But the one that I'm going to do now is from r/truckers by Rune, or I won't say written by, but told by. It's a story from RuneScape 420 Homie, which I think is an amazing name.
Yeah.
Fantastic name. It's in South Carolina, so it's not Appalachian area because it's Charleston. So it's kind of low countries on the coast, the Atlantic coast, but it's still super spooky.
Okay.
I was on a team driving at the time. It was summertime, and I was in South Carolina. I was in Charleston at a drop yard at night. This drop yard was inside a tow yard and had room for about 10 of our trailers in the back. So it was just some dirt lot in the back of a sketchy tow yard. Nothing special, but this is relevant. So I roll up there at around midnight to drop off and hook a trailer. To drop off and hook a trailer and then get rolling. Now, mind you, it's pitch black out and there's no lights on this back area. Off to my right hand side near the trailers, I see a bobtail tractor with what looks like some dome light and sleeper berth inside lights on. Those LEDs? I didn't think anything of it. Just maybe it was one of the company trucks. So he goes and he sees
like another truck and parked there.
A bobtail tractor specifically, and it's parked there.
So it's a bobtail. Isn't that the truck without the trailer on it? It's just like I think that's what a bobtail is. It's
Let me find out.
Like
I believe
the cab and the driving stuff, and then the back area that a trailer would hook up to.
I'm looking it up right now. Bobtail trailer. Yep. You're right.
Yay!
This is what Google AI says.
Oh, please.
In the trucking industry, a bobtail or bobtail truck refers to a semi-truck tractor operating without an attached trailer. So yeah, so it's the truck without the trailer.
Right.
I didn't know that.
And so he's seeing LEDs from it's got a cab behind it that somebody could be sleeping in still.
Right,
Okay.
exactly. But yeah, it just looks, he sees lights on.
Right.
Somebody could be in there, you know. He didn't think anything of it. Maybe it was one of the company trucks. So he said, anyway, I get parked and I have this weird feeling like something's wrong. Now I will admit I'm going to be doing some on the fly editing because he, you know,
uses colorful language.
He very colorful language. You know, sailor or trucker language. Yeah, so he gets.
I really wish you'd let me edit this. I'd love to switch these words around.
He gets some weird feelings, like something's wrong, like something bad is here, like something bad is watching me. I step outside the tractor and I just feel weird, man.
Okay, wait. Why are you stepping outside the tractor?
Well, because he has to. Because he's got to hook up with the trailer and everything.
Oh, okay. Got it. Something's
wrong. And I look at the bobtail tractor and the lights are off now. And
I have to say, sorry, I'm doing you.
No, go for it.
I want to sing Jingle Bells, Bobtail.
What's the
Bobtail Nag? Jingle Bells.
Yeah, Bob. No, because I'm thinking like Bobtail's ring. Are you listening? But that's not the right.
That's Sleigh Bells.
Yeah. I know. But what's
oh
yeah. Yes, Bill. Oh, okay.
Bells on Bobtail. Yeah.
Yeah. Except I don't think there's any bells on these.
No, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
On these bobtails. There's a horn though,
there's,
and also like when you open it, sometimes there's like a bing.
That's true.
Bing type thing, but. Yeah. So, but now he looks at this bobtail tractor.
Right. And the lights are no longer on.
The bell's not ringing and the lights are not on.
Okay, I deserve that. Okay.
And he shines his flashlight. So, and I shine my flashlight at it and it's actually wrecked. Looked like the right steer tire blew and the front end was messed up. When initially rolled up, those lights were on and let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yep. Thank you. I'm going to restate what I said. When initially rolled up, those lights were on and no one was in the front seat or back or anything from what I could see. But after I parked, those lights were off. Now, I don't think any crackheads were living in the truck. This yard was was secured pretty good. Huge gate to get in and security lets you in. I go to drop the trailer, yada, yada, and I'm back. I'm in the back of the trailer, messing with load straps or something. And I still feel weird the whole time. Well, when I went to my truck, my co-driver said, if you wanted to wake me up, you should have just come in and say my name and get me. Don't tap on the glass. I never tapped on the glass. My co-driver said they heard a faint tap on the glass in a pattern with fingers. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Quickly. Over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never tapped on the glass. I never tried to wake him up. I was in the back of the trailer doing work. So I told him everything I just felt and saw. The light being on and off and everything. And now I feel like something evil is watching me. And the co-driver tells me that just before they woke up, they were having a nightmare. They dreamed of a witch in a swamp. Like one of those bayou swamps. And the witch was outside her house calling my co-driver into the house. And what woke my co-driver up was the tapping on the windows. So after this, we're both freaking out. Like, what is going on? I even drove the truck around a loop and tried to recreate my headlights shining on the bobtail, but it didn't look the same as when I pulled in.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's where they end it. So that's there are a couple of comments on there, including people were like, it sounds like some people think that the yard was built on some kind of not good ground,
Right.
cursed or something like that.
Oh. Or it sounds like the bobtail was in an accident, so maybe somebody died
That could also be it.
and they're still there.
But then why the nightmare? I mean, and granted, that could just be a coinkydink.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I'm also curious. I know that in various places in the South, some states, I don't know if North Carolina counts as this, but there were a lot of witch.
Oh yeah, Appalachian.
Yeah, a lot of witch stuff. And I don't know. Like I said, this is an Appalachian area. This is Charleston, near Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh well, then you've got the swamps and the bayous.
Well, yeah,
and
and that's what he says. He had a dream about a witch in the bayou before the glass tapping woke him up, and so, I mean that could also be it. But then that also begs the question: one, why did the bobtail truck look fine at first?
Right.
What's going on there? But then two, what connection does that bobtail have to potential witch thing?
I know.
What happened? Why? Why? So
this was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, one of my favorite places.
The UP. Is this another UFO? I bet it is. Or it could also be Dogman.
I guess you're going to have to wait and see. I was delivering and installing machines for the company I was working for. I was in a 26-foot box truck with 12 machines in the back. I was having trouble with the truck the day before, had it checked out by the rental company, and they said it was all good. Since I was behind schedule due to the truck and problems with installations, I decided to drive late to my next destination. It was about 11 o'clock at night on a state route through the UP. There were no streetlights. There were no other cars. The headlights from my truck were the only thing illuminating the road. I was already creeped out. Totally get that.
Yeah.
At the peak of feeling like I was in the middle of nowhere, because I was, in fact, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's weird how you feel like that when you are in the place that you just described.
Every single light on the dashboard of the truck lit up, and then it stalled.
I've been there. Well, not exactly. That I understand the feeling, though. That's a terrifying feeling.
Yes.
No, I have not been driving a truck, so I feel like that's probably extra terrifying.
Well, and in the middle of the UP.
Right.
And
yeah.
probably in a forest.
Yeah, I was in Utah when it happened. So anyway, yeah.
And at night.
Well, I was at mine.
Oh,
Was
you
also
was
at night.
okay.
Yeah.
Now
on the
it's
highway.
pitch black. I am stopped, and the truck isn't restarting.
The truck is also stopped.
Rather than eat up the battery trying to turn it over, I shut everything down and start making phone calls. At least he's got cell service.
Sure.
I mean, that's a blessing.
Yes. Especially in some places in the UP, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. As I was calling everyone and anyone that would listen, I sat up in the dark night with the only light being from my hazard lights. I looked up and saw something move in front of the truck, just out of the distance of the flashing lights.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
At first, I thought it was my imagination. I finally got hold of someone, and they told me it would be 2 to 3 hours before they could come and get a mechanic to me.
That's awful.
So now I'm sitting in silence. The only noise is the clicking the hazard lights are making, and I'm staring out the windshield into a void of darkness when I see movement again.
And I'm going to pause you right here. Michigan, like Upper Peninsula Michigan darkness, it's a different. I think at our house
It's
we
like
can't
you
even.
can't see your hand
It's
in front of your
advanced
face.
darkness.
I love that. Love that. Yes.
Yep. It's
It
you,
is
you can
advanced
see
darkness.
you might be able to see some like tree silhouettes, but really you're not gonna, especially if it's like a new moon where there's no moon out there. It is horrifying.
It's dark. Dark. Just as I was getting nervous, my phone rang, and it scared the hell out of me. I totally get that. It was the mechanic that wanted me to get out, open the hood, and check some things out.
Yeah, thanks, guy. Appreciate it. Hey, could you just go outside the
This
pitch
is
black?
a very smart person. Nope, I am not getting out of the truck.
Good for him.
Without an explanation as to why. He was irritated with me, but I didn't care. So finally, after seeing the movement just out of range of the lights one more time, I threw on the headlights with the high beams. The headlights caught 3 wolves snacking on something that looked like roadkill. I honked the horn, And they looked at me like they were irritated.
Come on,
more
guy.
than scared.
Leave us
It's
alone.
We got dinner here.
Yeah, come on. At least let us finish before we have to go.
I was safe. The wolves more than likely weren't going to bother me, but it was spooky just knowing that they were there. So I shut the lights off. I would turn the lights on occasionally to check if they were still there. I was basically just sitting there listening to the hazard flashers click while surfing on my phone. Each time I turned the lights on, the wolves were still there. Just to remind you, I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No homes, no businesses, nothing but trees, wilderness, and wolves.
Not a single luxury.
Not a single luxury.
And it's not like he's going to be stepping outside to pee.
I suddenly heard what I can only equate to a woman's scream of terror that sounded like it came from right behind the truck. Then something slammed into the side of the truck hard enough to rock it.
I will say, because I'm going to pause again. So there are animals out there that do sound like their calls can sound like a woman screaming. Bobcat is one of them. Foxes. There are other animals out there, but none of those animals
can rock a truck.
Yeah,
a 26-foot truck.
I don't even like bears might be able to.
But they don't have high pitched
No.
like that?
Maybe a moose, but again, a moose can't it doesn't. It's also a haunting sound, but moose have different bellows as well.
I wasn't afraid of the truck tipping over, but whatever hit it hard enough to rock the suspension, enough to move me around in the cab.
Jeez, and
it was a pretty heavy truck.
That sounds like it was intentional.
Yes. I turned every light that the truck had on, slipped it into reverse so the reverse lights came on, and laid on the horn. I was checking both mirrors, and the only thing I saw was a shadow bolt across the road. I couldn't make out what it technically was, but in my head, it was the werewolf, yeti, Bigfoot, lizard monster that was going to end my life, and it was going to be agonizingly painful the entire time.
Everything you just said is very understandable given the situation.
I also noticed that the wolves were gone. From every nature documentary I've watched, the only time predators leave food is when there are bigger, badder predators around.
And as a reminder, there was a big truck that had its headlights on these wolves.
And they didn't.
And he laid on the horn. I don't know if he laid on the horn before.
He did earlier.
They didn't move. They didn't budge. They didn't care.
No, they just looked at him like, well, they probably flipped him off with their little wolf paws.
Yeah, but
okay.
It's amazing. That'd be incredible if wolves could do that.
Funny. Sorry. I didn't mean to lose it. That was funny.
Okay. Whatever crossed the road didn't cross very far off the road. I could hear it thrashing around in the brush, breaking sticks, and what sounded to be like logs. There was no noise pollution. I only had my window cracked a little bit, and I could hear it pretty well. Yeah. I basically had the steering wheel gripped, all the lights on, and was feverishly looking out the windows and through the mirrors to make sure nothing was around the immediate area of the truck.
Worst feeling.
I couldn't see off the road, and the flashlights I had were in the back of the truck in my tool bag. I'd have to get out of the truck to get them.
So
nope.
He doesn't have them anymore,
Nope.
basically.
Finally, I saw some headlights through one of my mirrors. It seemed like it took hours for them to close the distance to me. The noise stopped as the headlights approached. It was obviously the mechanic because no one else was stupid enough to be out there besides me. The mechanic pulled out in front of me. My headlights were shining on him and his truck. As his door opened to step out, we both hear the women screaming in terror type of yell again, and the brush thrashing intensified. Whatever it was still close and pissed. His door immediately closed.
Good man.
And my phone rang. He called my phone asking me what it was. He sounded more panicked than me. I had no clue what it was. He had no clue what it was. So the mechanic called the police. He wouldn't work on my truck until we could secure the area.
Or until dawn.
Yeah.
You know.
Which I don't blame him. He didn't like my idea of him getting out of his truck just to check things out.
That's when you remind him, that's what you asked me to do.
That's right. Nanner.
Yeah.
2 Michigan State police officers showed up. They lit up that area like it was a stadium. I finally stepped out of the truck for the first time since it all started. We heard that scream 3 more times while the mechanic was working on the truck.
Jeez.
Thankfully, they were getting further away.
Good.
The cops had no clue what it was either. They were kind of spooked too.
And just as a reminder, these are cops from the local area. Even if they don't go to the rural area very often,
Right.
it's still in their jurisdiction, so they still have to get out there and
Right.
go there. They don't know what that is. They're trained professionals, like trained in
Right.
observation. They probably should know what that animal call is.
If it's a normal animal.
Right.
The mechanic finally got my truck running, and I made it to my hotel for the night. The next morning, I walked the truck for inspection, and the side that was hit, there was an indentation about the size of a basketball.
Jeez.
Whatever hit it didn't hit it hard enough to push it all the way through, but it definitely mushed the fiberglass. The indentation was about 7 feet off the ground. I have no idea what it was. I probably never will. I do confidently know that I will never ever drive through the Upper Peninsula at night again.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Also, wasn't that story on the Dogman of Michigan? Wasn't he interviewed in that? Or was that a different?
That's a different truck driver that had in that one, the truck driver looked out the window and there's a dogman looking in the window at him.
Ugh.
And he actually shot it and killed it. And that's when
right.
the Men in Black came.
That's right.
And said, you killed one of our assets.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that. I've heard that story before, but it could have been told on a different podcast that I heard before. But yeah, no,
This is the podcast that it's told in.
yeah, this is the one.
This is the one. That was a great story, and I loved how he wrote it. I mean, so funny. He had great sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
And also good instincts. Don't get out of the truck.
No.
Don't get out of the truck if you don't have to.
And good on him. Good bladder too, because that would have been my problem.
Or he doesn't mention the fact that he had a bottle in there for that reason, for that purpose.
See, boys can do that.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry. No, my brother is a truck driver, so he's told me that one. He's also telling me apparently that there's a stretch of highway, I think it's in Kentucky or Tennessee, where it's popular for the truck drivers to chuck their bottles out the window, like on this overpass. So there's like this pile of bottles full
Apple
of
juice.
urine.
Oh, whoa.
It's the Apple Juice Canyon.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Basically,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to ask him where that's at. He was telling me about this
Yeah.
at Christmas a couple years ago.
Wow. Okay.
So talk about haunting roads. That road is probably very haunted.
For different reasons.
For
Yes.
different reasons. It's a very spooky road.
Yes.
You don't want to stop at night.
It's a really tall overpass.
Okay.
So I mean, we're talking like it's like 100 feet down.
Oh,
from
all
the
right.
from the actual highway.
Gotcha.
So it's
okay.
like a ravine.
Okay. But I mean, still.
I'm sure everyone's very interested in this.
And underneath the ravine, it's called the Yellow River.
Nice. I feel bad. I would imagine there might be like water. I feel bad for whatever animal population was under that canyon, because that animal population isn't there anymore. Or if it is, it's been mutated tremendously.
Well, it could be just like fertilizer.
Pee doesn't work as fertilizer.
Okay.
It's too acidic. Poop, maybe. But I don't think, it doesn't sound like they're throwing bottles of that.
I would really hope not.
Yeah, that sounds more like a weapon, a grenade. Now, coming back to I do have a story. This is I've got a few stories from this book. It's called Trucker Ghost Stories and Other True Tales of Haunted Highways, Weird Encounters, and Legends of the Road.
Nice. You can find that on Amazon.
You can. I got it for like $3 on Amazon, the Kindle. I think the paperback copy
Gonna be
like
more
probably
expensive.
a little under $20, like $17 or something
Nice.
like that. But anyway, one of the stories I've got, like I said, I got a few stories from here. I think like 2 or 3. One of them is titled. I'm actually not going to say what it's titled.
Okay.
I'm just gonna jump into it.
Going to be mysterious.
This one though, it's not your typical haunting.
Okay.
It's weird.
Okay.
This is a weird one. So, some 7 or 8 years ago, when I was a small boy, I used to go on trips with my dad, who is an OTR, over the road driver in Europe. I'm from Estonia. We were heading home through Slovakia. That's the place I was trying to think of before in the last episode, Slovakia. A lot of weird stuff in Slovakia in general. And it says the author, Slovakia is pretty mountainous. As we were driving up and down the hill, at one point my father discovered that the truck's performance was not what it should be. We could hardly get 60 kilometers per hour, 35 miles per hour in American freedom units, down the hill. The truck was a Volvo FH12 semi with 420 horsepower. So for those of you who know trucks, you know how good that is. All of that sounded like just numbers and words in Greek to me. But it sounds like it should be impressive, but for some reason, it wasn't as impressive as it should be. Our first thought was that the brakes were jammed on. We went out to inspect if any of the brakes were abnormally hot. Some were a bit hot, but that is normal in hills, as you know. We got back into the cab, and as my dad released the parking brake, we noticed that our fully loaded semi, which was carrying 40 tons, was rolling backward up the hill. Neither of us said a word for a minute. Our next thought was that maybe there's some very weird fault in the transmission. To exclude that possibility, my dad shut down the engine and, surprise, the truck was still rolling uphill. The force ended after driving us about 3 to 5 miles. We told the story to other truckers later. Nobody believed us and thought that we were confused which way was up and which way was down the hill. Unfortunately, at this time, cell phones and cameras were not yet popular in or in masses, at least in our country. We couldn't film it. And then he goes on to say other things that my father has seen. 2 sons. But this should not be paranormal. I have read recently that it is something to do with atmosphere temperatures and can be seen, though rarely.
It's like a reflection because of
an illusion.
Right.
And back in the 90s, when my father was driving between Finland and Russia, one night in Moscow, he saw a flying object that traveled abnormally fast. It could not have been a falling star because it made 90-degree turns instantly. Yeah, so it was titled Gravity Hill.
Okay, and there's a lot of those we should do. There's a lot of that phenomena. And a lot of the times the stories are you park your car, you put it in neutral, and it pushes you for a while. And supposedly if you put like baby powder on the back bumper, you'll have generally the urban legend is a school bus gets hit by a train. And all of these children die.
But that's the American.
That's the American version. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of these Gravity Hill kind of stories.
Because he doesn't say what mountain in Slovakia, but it is a mountainous region in Slovakia. And it sounds like that's the reason why their car was not going as fast as it should be, was because something was trying to. It was working against them. It was opposite the way they should have been going.
But they also say that there was a scientist, and I don't know if it was, what was that show that was, they were disproving things. It was
Mythbusters?
Yes. And they went out, and it turns out that because of the topography, the landscape, you were actually going downhill, but because of the land around it, it made it seem like it was uphill.
It's an optical illusion. It's like forced perspective.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's actually so back when I was working for I think I can say Kids Fun TV, we did a really cool. It was a work trip. It was a kind of a team building thing.
Right.
It was also going to a location that they had filmed at before, but we went to, as a company, we went to
Cancun.
Yeah, Cancun. And in Cancun, or near Cancun anyway, there were a few different amusement parks,
right.
I guess, that had various different things, a bunch of zip lines and everything. But one of them, and I forget the name of it, so we can't be sponsored by them, unfortunately, yet. Hit us up. But no, it was like not a museum. It was still an amusement park, but dedicated to illusions, kind of, confusing the senses. I say it's not just a museum because they also had like a lazy river, but it's like a mud lazy river and like, those kinds of things. So it wasn't just that. But one of the big main illusion that they had was exactly what you guys were just talking about. It was a optical illusion that made it look like you were walking uphill because of everything built up around it.
Right.
But when you look down, there was a stream. And so it made the stream look like it was going uphill when in fact it was going downhill.
Yep.
Now that being said,
we don't know.
I'm guessing that they probably were going, like, they've been trucking for a while. It sounds like they both were there. They both, they had experience, and it sounds like their car, like I said before, it was going, it was performing irregularly.
Right.
So it sounds like their experience probably wasn't necessarily optical illusion. It could have been.
Right.
That is an explanation, but I don't know. I feel like an experienced trucker who had been, trucking for that long in that area.
If he knew the route.
Yeah. I feel like that probably wouldn't. Yeah. They probably would know whether or not they were going uphill or downhill, even if there was an illusion.
Right.
So, yeah.
My turn. I used to drive a truck in northern Manitoba. I really didn't. This is the person that I'm talking about.
I think I might have the same story.
Oh, okay.
So I will read along with you as I listen.
There's a road in the northeast you can drive for several hours and see very few vehicles. This road is quite flat and straight in stretches. Of course, this is deep in the bush. One day, I saw something cross the road in the distance, very large, easily past the hood on my truck, but not long, like a moose or an elk, just tall. It disappeared into the bush, and as I drove by the spot, the hair on the back of my neck stood up. I heard days later a tow truck driver describing on the radio his encounter with a similar creature, only he was much more clear. He had spotted Bigfoot.
Yeah, with Manitoba is Bigfoot country, right?
Yeah.
But I guess there's a lot of places.
I was going to say the United States and Canada and yeah,
but not everywhere in the United States, but most forest areas in the United States. You got a lot of desert areas that aren't necessarily Bigfoot territory. True. But anyway.
The guy went to some length to explain he didn't want people thinking he was crazy, but he was sure of what he saw. I asked an Aboriginal client of mine in a nearby community, and he said the elders spoke of them as commonly the same way as others speak about animals. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I saw that day, but I'm certain it wasn't a bear, moose, deer, or elk. I just don't know what the hell it was.
That was by the Hot Bread Guy.
The Hot Bread Guy. Yes, it was.
Yep. 9 years ago on a Reddit. It was a Ask Reddit question.
Right.
Asking truckers about the experiences that they've
the scary ones they've had. Yes.
Yeah, the spooky stories. Here's a less spooky story.
Okay.
This is another one of those from the same, not from the same, but it was from the first place that I hope you guys don't hear all the paper. If you do, I apologize. Trying to okay, good. Ash has just let me know. Just give me the head shake. You guys can't hear as I'm fishing for the next stories.
In case you missed that sound.
So this one is from the Truckers Report website. So from the same place as as my first story, different forum, but similar story. And it's again it's spooky, but it's good.
Okay.
So, starts out. It was on Highway 30 on. I'm assuming in Pennsylvania, PA, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yep.
Highway 30 in Pennsylvania. This is another Pennsylvania. No, not another, but it's anyway. I can stay on track. I can stay on topic. I promise. Highway is a curvy 2-lane road and not recommended for trucks, but it is quicker. I came around a curve and came upon a bridge, and there was a young girl, around 2 or so, standing at the side of the bridge. I swerved to the left lane, and it dawned on me, what would a young girl be doing standing there at this time of the morning, which was around 2 a.m.?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Also good on him for spotting her.
Right.
I pulled over to the shoulder the best I could and walked back to her. I asked her name, and she told me. I asked her, what are you doing here? And she pointed behind her. I looked over behind us, and I could barely see an overturned car at the bottom of the ravine there. I ran down there, and there was a couple in the car, both unconscious. I went back to the truck. I grabbed my bar. I use it on tightening straps and on a flatbed. Called 911 and headed back to the car. I broke the windshield out, got the guy out, and that's when the paramedics and the state police showed. They got the woman out, who you could tell she was very, very pregnant. They sent them out by ambulance, and the state trooper was taking a statement. He says, I'm surprised you could see that car way down there. I told him I didn't. Their daughter was standing by the bridge. That's why I stopped. He radioed the ambulance. The ambulance radioed back. The couple says, we don't have a daughter.
Whoa, chills. That was excellent. That was excellent.
It's just, a random 2-year-old little girl. That's, totally not paranormal. No.
Yeah, that reminds me of the doctor's story that I told.
Yeah, except that one, though,
he was there.
Yeah, the little boy was there.
Yeah.
This one,
who knows? Yeah.
Why is she there?
Right.
Honestly, it could be still a little girl who happened to see, but then the next question is what was she doing there?
Well, and where did she go?
Yeah, where did she come from? Where did she go? Where did she come from?
Cotton Eye Joe.
No.
My first couple of years, I was a night driver, so it was hard to see things sometimes. But the one in Pennsylvania was me, another Pennsylvania,
guys. It's a scary road place.
Now, me trying to follow a flatbedder who was hauling serious butt through the mountains. At one point, I start to fall back because I can feel the van starting to lean. It wasn't long after that I reached down to take a swig of the handy monster I had and look up, and there's a guy standing off to the shoulder just outside the tree line wearing what appeared to be some type of soldier's uniform. Looked like Revolutionary era.
Ooh.
He had a musket as well. As I approach, I can see him staring right at me. And then he starts walking back into the tree line, still looking at me. Before he manages to make it through the trees, he disappears. Like literally vanishes in thin air. I had my windows down, and the air in the area got real cold. After about a mile, the air warmed up again. I had a really sad feeling come over me for a while afterwards. Needless to say, I didn't stop for the rest of my shift.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has got a lot of history.
Yeah. That was kind of that thin. We talked about thin places. Yeah. A thin place. I mean, that glimpse into the past.
And also, I mean, the highway is they're both traveling on this highway.
Yep.
So it's not surprising that there would be some of that if people in the past, if that roadway was important to people, if that path was important to people.
And some of the old trails have turned into, I know around here, the old Galena Trail is the
Stagecoach Trail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's also right next to the railroad as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So here is the longer one. This is a longer one. This is also from Trucker Ghost Stories and Other True Tales of Haunted Highways, Weird Encounters, and Legends of the Road. This one is it's good. It's a good one.
Okay.
And it's spooky, but not in the typical way. I'll tell you the title of this one. It's called Incident at Lost River.
Ooh.
I was hauling a load of lumber through eastern West Virginia, out of Virginia, when I experienced something that I can only describe as a Twilight Zone event. There are no ghosts in this story, but that only adds to the eeriness of it.
Okay.
I've been a trucker for many years, and I put many miles behind me over the years. I picked up a load of lumber in Northern Virginia and was traveling Route 55, a 2-lane road through West Virginia, on my way home for the weekend. Route 55 goes through Petersburg, Moorfield, and Seneca Rocks, West Virginia. I remember crossing a covered steel bridge over the Lost River. I knew that I would be in Baker in just a short time. I'd planned on stopping in Baker for a soft drink and a short break. I was pretty tired, and that is probably why I was sidetracked. I don't remember making any turnoffs or exits from Route 55. Once I reached Seneca Rocks, I was going to head west on 33 toward Elkins, and from there, it would only be an hour and a half to home. After I crossed the bridge, I noticed that I'd been driving for an awful long time. The trip from Baker to Moorfield is only about 30 minutes. When I looked at my watch, I'd been driving about 3 hours longer than it should have taken me. As I was driving along, I noticed that I was on a strange road, not Route 55 that I'd driven time and time again. I was having to pull hills that weren't there before and use the low side of the transmission. It was taking me an excessive amount of time to drive this strange road, up one side and down the other, out of one curve, only to go into another. I got so mad, I started beating myself up. I couldn't believe that I allowed myself to get so tired driving that I would take a wrong turn and end up lost on a wrong road. I quickly grabbed my road map and in only a few minutes found that I must have been heading back to Virginia via a different route, 258, I think. This is really going to put me behind schedule, and I was furious with myself. How stupid I was. Did he knock anything?
I think we're fine.
Okay. Well, I just heard, Finn adjusting. He's sleeping, Anyway, I looked at the map and tried to find an alternate route back to Moorfield. The only roads on the map were dirt roads through the hills. There was no way I was going to drive a 60-foot tractor trailer through the woods. The only way to get back on track was to go on to Virginia and pick up Route 28 back to Seneca Rocks or find a place to turn around and backtrack to where I made the wrong turn. This is where I realized that something was wrong. As I drove along, I noticed that the road was unusually smooth. No potholes, no rough places at all. This is America. That doesn't happen.
That's right.
I looked for a wide place or a driveway or someplace big enough to turn around. There wasn't a wide place or driveway anywhere. There were no guide rails, though this road was hilly and curvy. It was so curvy that my trailer was crossing way over the center. I gotta flip the page. Was driving way over the center of the road in every curve. And I was having to drive across the center of the road so my trailer didn't go off the road or on the other side. This is when I noticed that there were no yellow painted center lines or white painted edge lines. Where in the world was I? Sounds like most country roads to me, but then again, we're in Illinois. That's in Wisconsin. That's I don't know about Virginia and West Virginia. I would imagine they have those kind of country roads, but also it sounds like most of those country roads are still gravel. I don't know. Anyway, the longer I drove, the weirder it got. There were no road signs, no mailboxes, no utility poles, no wildlife, and worst of all, for 3 hours of driving, I never met or saw one single other vehicle. I grabbed my map again and tried to determine where I was.
So this is way before GPS then. If he's looking at a map.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he says, He said, because he says he's been driving for a long time. Let's see. No, he doesn't say what year.
Okay.
Just says that he's been driving. Yeah. Wait. Incident Lost River. Okay.
On the other side of the page you have.
You are right. You are right. Let me just go back and see. I picked up a load of, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't say what year this was. So,
but it's maps, so it's not GPS. So
right. Or at the very least, he's not using a GPS.
Right.
That doesn't mean he doesn't have one, or he doesn't have a cell phone.
Right.
But he's using a map. He might be just old school that way. He
Maybe.
might not. Also, this could be area where
there's no cell service.
Yeah. Or it's spotty at best. Let's see. I grabbed my map again and tried to determine where I was. As I looked at my map, I noticed that I would be coming to a small town called Matthias. And then just a few short miles more, I would go through another small town called Lost River. I finally saw a sign that read Matthias. I was relieved. I was no longer lost I was at least on the road to Route 28, even though I would be late. As I entered Matthias, I expected to see houses, cars, and maybe some people, a post office, and a store or two. There was nothing. No driveways, homes, stores, people, cars, painted lines, road signs, mailboxes, nothing. I thought it was pretty strange, but a lot of places in West Virginia have just a sign designating a town, and a few miles later, there would be all these things. The next thing I saw was a sign that read Lost River. I pondered for a moment and wondered what happened to Matthias. As I continued to drive along, Lost River didn't have any homes, mailboxes, or anything. Nothing. Just this incredibly smooth paved road with no painted lines or guide rails. I grabbed my map again and was relieved that in about 30 minutes or so, I would finally make it to the intersection of Route 28. I had been driving on this road for at least 3 hours, and I was getting tired. About the time I expected to reach 28, I looked up ahead, and I finally reached a town with cars, people, homes, utility poles, and yes, even painted lines on the road. To my amazement, I was in Moorfield. I was flabbergasted. Why did it take me over 6 hours to drive a 3-hour trip through the stretch of road? Before anyone thinks I went to sleep and miraculously made this drive half conscious, when I checked the mileage on the odometer, I had driven 70 miles and 3 hours out of my way. And when I entered Moorfield, I was on Route 55.
Wow.
I had never left Route 55. I never made a wrong turn, but I was definitely on the road in the twilight zone, and I shudder to think what might have happened if I had stopped anywhere on this road and gotten out of the truck. If I had stopped, it would have had to be in the middle of the road because there wasn't even a wide enough place on this road to pull off. So in this story, just as a warning, there is another story there's another friend who has another story that's adjacently related. Do you want me to share this story with your story? Okay. So an old trucker friend of mine had a weird look on his face when I told him about this strange drive. He looked like he saw a ghost. He told me that when he was driving truck years ago, he had heard stories that were similar to mine that happened along the same stretch of road. But he didn't personally know any of these other drivers, so he dismissed it as an old trucker story. My friend told me that there was something weird about that area in West Virginia. He told me about his experience. He was driving his pickup truck on Route 28 toward Seneca Rocks. He knew he would be at Seneca Rocks in about 15 minutes from where he was. He had driven this area time and time again and had spent a large part of his life in Romney at a school for the deaf, so he was very familiar with the area. He said that in the time you snap your fingers, he was from where he was to Seneca Rocks. It happened so fast that he slammed on his brakes and slid out of the road and almost crashed. Yeah, so he was just
right there.
He was expecting to be 15 minutes, and suddenly, boom.
Boom, he's there.
Shaken up, he got out of his pickup and walked over to the little store there to calm down and get a soft drink. This is when he looked at the clock on the wall and looked at his watch. He had gotten to Seneca Rocks 15 minutes early, for his watch was 15 minutes slower than the clock on the wall. In July, a couple years after my strange experience, I took my wife to visit her family in Virginia. On the way back home, I told my family I was going to take them through the Twilight Zone. I just had to go back to this place to see where I was. As we went through the steel bridge, I described that this was the last thing I remembered seeing until I reached Moorfield. When we got to Baker, I made a left turn on 258 and told my family I don't remember taking this turn in the truck, but I must have. In about 20 minutes, we got to Matthias, and to my surprise, there were houses everywhere, cars, people, and 258 had painted lines all the way. I want to note that when I was in the truck, the road was smooth, but it was not freshly paved. About 9 miles more, we made it to Lost River, and there were stores, a post office, homes, people, cars. I couldn't believe it. I said, I swear, these things weren't here before. I don't remember the name of the state park on down the road from Lost River, but I told my family that we would drive that road to Moorfield. It goes through the woods, and it must have been the road I was on. When we got to the park, there was a gigantic sign that reads, "No trucks." I knew that if I had seen that sign, I would not have continued on it.
Right.
In truck. Right, this is the right, yep, okay. I would not have drove on it in truck. We drove several miles on this road, and it seemed eerily familiar. But there were wide places, mailboxes, and scattered homes. I told my family that I had to have been on this road in the truck, but I didn't know how. After we crested the last hill, I realized there is no way I could have driven my truck on this road. About halfway down this hill, there was a switchback, and there is no way I could have pulled my trailer around it. No way. It would have taken dozers and wreckers to slide the trailer around this curve, and it probably would have done extreme damage to the truck, the trailer, and the trailer, so I determined that this is not the road I drove. When we reached the end of this road, it intersected with another road that leads into Moorfield from another direction. Then I knew that I did not drive my truck on a road through the woods. To this day, I do not know where I was. And it says this was written or given to the person who made this compilation by Laken L. Eubank Jr.
Cool.
It was a longer one, but man,
it was good.
It's weird. It's a fun little time slip, you know? It's a scary time slip, especially when you're driving, you know the road, you know the area, and you're on a time limit.
And you don't know how you got off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got two quicks.
Okay.
I'm not a truck driver, but this story is from a truck driver. I was working the overnight shift from Friday night into Saturday morning at a gas station. About 6 a.m., a semi pulls into the fuel aisle. Driver gets out and almost runs into the store, completely shaken. His face is completely white, and he is obviously upset. My first thought was the poor man had hit somebody on the road. We get a lot of drunks walking across a 4-lane highway in front of the store. So ask what's wrong. He looks at me for a second and is like, I'm not crazy. Now I'm thinking, great. Here I am all alone and this guy is losing it.
And I love it. When somebody says, I'm not crazy, then you're like, oh no, this guy's crazy.
This guy's crazy, right. I say, oh, of course not.
Ah, the classic Southern hospitality.
Yeah. I just saw something huge on the side of the road. Like a deer or a bear. We had a bear in the dumpster last week. No, bigger than a bear on its back legs. Maybe a big person. It picked up a dead buck on the side of the road and carried it over its shoulder into the woods.
Ooh, bears don't do that.
People don't do that.
I mean, no, you're right. People, no, yeah.
I can only stare at him. My brain cannot deal with this information this late in a shift. A local comes up to the counter to get his usual, and the guy tells him the story. The local said, "Oh, that's the Bigfoot that lives near the county line." Joe, I don't know if his name is...
That's just Jack Burton.
Yeah, exactly. The truck driver and I are both looking at this guy like he has two heads. He has to be joking. The trekker pays for his fuel at record speed and leaves, never to be seen again.
Good man.
The local still insists it's Bigfoot. I
Casually.
just don't go into the woods because I don't know. Yeah. So next one.
That's terrifying.
I know.
I love it, but that's terrifying.
It's just the Bigfoot.
It's just the Bigfoot. You know, he's friendly. He's a friendly guy.
The county hired him to do highway cleanup. Yum.
Honestly, that sounds like everyone wins in that deal.
That's right. Yeah. My friend drove for a few years a while back. He told me he was driving a rig very late at night in Utah, and we haven't had a Utah story.
We have not had a Utah story, and I feel like there probably should be a few of them at least.
Driving on a lesser-used 2-lane highway, he said he remembers feeling very alert that night.
Does he say which part of Utah?
He doesn't. So he noticed what appeared to be a figure manifesting up ahead on the dark road.
Oof.
Told me it wasn't on the road, but just next to it. Then he comes to a stop and grabs his heavy-duty flashlight and points it at the figure. Then he describes it. Apparently, this humanoid creature had a dead coyote it was eating, and the truck had gotten its attention and pissed it off. So it sort of stands up so he can get a full view of the thing. It was gaunt with very big eyes and, of course, the coyote blood all over its face.
Sure.
Its height was about 6'2". It had skinny limbs, no clothing. Then he describes how it started to shuffle slowly towards the truck.
I'm going to pause right there. This is Utah.
Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, no, I was going to say 6'2", gaunt individuals. That's actually pretty common. He sounds like, I mean, besides being naked part, you just described most of the guys that I knew in near Salt Lake City anyway. Go ahead.
He describes how it started to shuffle slowly towards the truck.
That's no good.
Not only does he not have a weapon at the time, the only usable weapon being his flashlight is actively helping him view this creature. He decides to book it.
And a flashlight's not a weapon.
No, it's not long enough. Yeah.
No, it's not. Yeah. Sorry.
What if it's a mag light? Like a big long
Oh,
one?
I have one of those. Those are great, but still too close.
Yeah. Well, and also, again, a flashlight, it's... I mean, I guess you got to hit the guy. You could get the
mag lights are like, what, 2 feet
That's fair.
long?
That's
but
fair.
Still,
yeah, you don't want to...
somebody has a reach longer than 2 feet.
You don't want a close combat thing. You want to be able to... You want a flashlight plus something that's a projectile, probably.
So... he decides to book it and leave. Had no problem passing it. Turned around to see it standing in the middle of the road on 2 legs as he drove away. When he reaches the nearest rest stop, he sees 2 other truckers talking. Apparently, my friend wasn't the only one to see this thing. Both the 2 guys looked as horrified as he was. As for my opinion on my friend's encounter, I have to say my friend isn't one to lie. So his story had me intrigued. I told him maybe what he saw was some mentally ill person out there, but he brushed the idea off, saying he knew what he saw wasn't human. I'm not the superstitious type, but his story really did creep me out.
Depending on what part of Utah, that is definitely Navajo country.
Right.
I will say, if it is what we think it is, those technically they did start out human.
Right.
They just, they're shamans who, they kind of they go bad.
Right.
I guess, and they decide
and they can switch back.
I believe their natural state is human. But they do transform. They wear the skins of other.
Yeah. When
things.
they go out to lunch. Coyote sounds good. How about for you?
Yummy. Let's see. Because I do have.
How are we time-wise?
We are at 1 hour, 38 minutes.
Okay.
So we got time for maybe a couple more.
Okay.
I think.
I want to do that. I've got a short, but you go ahead and do one.
Trying to find one that, what, you said 1 hour and what? Just so I can cut all this out.
38.
1 hour, 38?
1 hour, 38, 50 seconds.
Okay. That one's for the r/truckers. Oh, that's why. I've scrambled a few of these. Okay. I'm trying to find a good, because now I've got the last ones that I have are from that
Okay.
ask Reddit one that you pulled one of yours from. 8, 9. So is this 10? No, it's 12. 10, 11. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I've got two pretty good ones. So maybe I share one, you share one, and then I share one,
And I've got one more.
Okay, and then you
Okay.
share one, and then we'll
And then
call
we're
it good.
done. Okay.
Okay. Hopefully, I don't take any of the ones that you're going to do. Hopefully, yours are not from the same.
I've got a pig head, and then I've got Route
That's not
666.
That's not very nice to say. That's not not a nice thing to say about yourself.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
This is 9, 10. Yes.
So you're
okay.
going to cut all this.
Yeah, I'm going to cut all this out.
Great.
So. Okay, so it's we've got a couple more truck driver stories.
Yeah, a couple each.
Yeah, a couple each. I think they're all going to be. I know the ones that I have are, again, fairly unique. They're not your typical. I don't know. I guess
We'll find out.
I feel like every single truck driver story that we've shared so far has been super unique.
Yeah.
They don't have. It's not like, it's very different than the last episode where we had. The BEK or BEC stories.
They had patterns to them.
Yes, these
Yes.
don't have any patterns, and I think that makes it even scarier. More terrifying. And also, I feel like it sounds like a lot of truckers, they do their whole career, they don't have any of these experiences.
Right.
But there are obviously some that do.
Or they don't talk about them.
Well, I mean, I feel like at least in the forums that I was going to and reading,
Right.
a lot of truckers would say this. I've never had any experiences myself. I would share them if I could, basically. But
So if you're listening to our podcast and you're a trucker or you watch our YouTube and you've had experiences, please feel free to share them. And we'll give you the email at the end of the show.
yes, also it does sound like there have been a lot of truckers that call into Jim Harold as well. In fact, there's one story that I didn't bring up from that one. So maybe when we do this again, because I'm sure that we will.
That's right.
We have a lot of.
Yeah.
There's one of them that I really, really liked that I will share, but that won't be today.
Okay.
Today, the last few that I have anyway are from the same r/ask Reddit.
Okay.
That you shared one of your stories from.
Right.
So I've got a few of those from here. This was from an account that is deleted now, so I don't know who it's from, but this was shared 11 years ago. So it's been a hot minute. Just a couple months ago, I worked a pretty late shift one night. Left the office around 2 a.m. and had a 30-minute drive home. So I guess apparently this wasn't this isn't a trucking necessarily, but it's in the car, so it's adjacent.
We'll take it.
Yeah. I tried to avoid these, but I guess I didn't, I skimmed it, didn't fully read. Anyway, I live pretty far out in the woodland areas of the country. Forest directly on both sides of the road. I was casually driving along through the fog, and out of nowhere, a kid's rubber ball, the basketball-sized ones with cartoons on them, comes bouncing out in the middle of the road from the trees. I slammed on my brakes and swerved to miss it because I thought for sure a kid was bound to be chasing behind it. Never seen a soul step out. As I drive on by, I started thinking, what would a kid be doing out? Doing out playing this late? Then I remembered there were no houses around where this happened at. Someone had to have thrown it in the road. the height it came onto the road at, and the way it bounced, the wind simply didn't blow it in front of me. It was pretty creepy. Just a casual ball being thrown by something.
Wow.
Swerved out of the way. That'd be terrifying to me, especially considering it was foggy. It was a foggy day,
right.
you know, and yeah, he didn't see any
local Bigfoot playing ball with the kids in the front yard. Doesn't seem strange to me.
That's why they got rid of, because I remember Walmart used to have those bins of like those bouncy balls. That's why Walmart got rid of them, because Bigfoot, you know, Sasquatch High, they kept on going in and just, you know, shoplifting these balls.
That's right.
Man.
My uncle was driving between Great Falls and Helena at about 3 a.m. He had his high beams on as it was a lonely drive and a quiet highway. In the distance, he saw something cross the median and started to slow his approach, thinking it was a deer. As he got closer, he realized it was standing up. And so he slowed down to about 30 miles per hour.
Wait, he saw something he thought was a deer and it was standing up?
And then, so as he's far away, he sees something and he thinks, oh, it must be a deer. So he slows down.
Gotcha.
As he gets closer, he realizes it's standing up. Yes, bipedal. Thank you. Yep. So he's slowing down to 30 miles an hour. He realized what it was and started to panic. A man in blue coveralls with a pig's head.
Ooh.
Not a mask, but literally the head of a pig on his shoulder.
What area of the country is this?
This is Montana.
Okay. I feel like I've heard of this before, but I thought it was in the South. But Montana is very much not.
It's almost Canada. So
yeah, very much
my uncle moved to the left lane, and as he passed, Pighead lunged at the truck.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm thinking bacon, but maybe it's just me.
Scream!
There's a bit of a mass difference between a truck and a pig man.
I know.
That just adds to the terrifying nature of it, because that pig is obviously confident enough.
Well, and pigs, they're ferocious, vicious.
Pigs are gnarly, especially if you let them go wild. Become warthogs.
Even
that's fair. Even tamed ones.
domestic pigs, they're carnivores.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so my uncle didn't stop to check if he had grabbed on till he was in the safety of Helena. Nothing was out of the ordinary there, but on that stretch of road now, he doesn't slow down for anything.
Understandable. Jeez.
Okay.
Which is, I think I already said they're going to all be from the subreddit.
Reddit thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one is by Sue Heck. Sue _Sue_Heck.
Okay.
9 years ago. My dad is a retired trucker, and he's told me this story many times. He'd parked up in a very rural area for the night. I don't know why that hard's so difficult.
That's a hard word, rural.
Yeah. He'd parked up in a very rural area for the night, surrounded by nothing but fields around and the occasional passing truck. He put his head down and had a little nap. Woke up sometime later needing to pee. Can understand that. He switched his headlights on and prepared to hop out and do his business when he saw a lady standing just a little way in front. He watched her, wondering where she'd come from, when another truck drove past. He looked again, and she'd gone. He got so spooked, he drove to a more populated area and spent the night parked there instead. So it's that classic, looking up, sees a woman on the other side of the road, and then a car passes, she's gone.
Yep.
It's a short but sweet.
Yep.
And he doesn't say, I don't think he says where that happened, because I'm assuming it's just somewhere on the highway. So, but
life is a highway.
I want to ride it
all night long.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I want to sleep maybe occasionally.
Yeah. So this is another Reddit. It's from SIOS is the Redditor.
Okay.
Trucker here. A few years back, I was traveling through Ute Native land in New Mexico on Highway 491. Now, this is interesting. Highway 491 used to be Route 666.
Ooh.
But they changed it a few years back.
Understandable.
I think people were taking the signs. So
I'm curious about. I'm going to look that up.
Route 666. It's the Satan route.
Literally highway to hell.
That's right.
Route 666. Hold on.
Anyways, I'm in the middle of the desert around midnight. No lights or civilization for miles.
Yeah. Sorry. I found.
Go right ahead.
Okay. This AI. Google AI let me know. Route 666 most commonly refers to the former designation of a controversial highway in the American Southwest, nicknamed the Devil's Highway due to its high fatality rate.
Oh.
And sinister associations. This spur of U.S. Route 66. That's probably why it's 666.
666, right.
Kind of attached to 66.
Somebody could have done 1 or 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Ran from Gallup, New Mexico to Cortez, Colorado. It was officially renamed U.S. Route 191 in 2003 to shed its negative stigma.
Okay, and he's saying it's 491, but okay, I'm whatever.
No, whichever.
Yes. Okay.
It's 91s.
Anyways, I'm in the middle of the desert around midnight. No lights or civilization for miles. When up in the sky, there's a huge orange flash. The orange flash quickly inflated into a giant ball bigger than the sun. It even had a fiery looking texture to it. Suddenly, the orange ball disappeared, and the entire desert, horizon to horizon, flashed a bright yellow, lighting up everything around me like it was daytime. Then everything went back to normal. This all happened within a few seconds, but it was definitely the weirdest thing I've seen on the road.
I mean, he got flashbanged, kind of.
Yeah.
Or, the other quote, I guess, is, when Puma's talking about the big ball of gas. It's kind of what it is. That's so, because, it's in New Mexico.
New Mexico. So it sounds like northern New Mexico because if that's where if it went to Colorado,
yeah.
So it's like in the Four Corners area.
Mm-hmm. But that's fascinating because what was the? It's not necessarily close to Skinwalker Ranch necessarily, but that's that's another place that had a giant orb thing, except for that one had liquidy substances.
This is probably closer to a lot of Indian reservations.
Sure. And Navajo reservations specifically, but I'm sure he says Ute as well.
Right.
But I don't know if Ute is a nation still.
Ute native land in New Mexico.
Is that still
I would guess so.
I hope so. I don't know what all the current nations that are still operating are. Obviously I'm still very, I would love to learn more. I'm still very ignorant when it comes to,
what is that place in southern Utah and Colorado right there, where we went in, it's a national park and, you can see where the cliff dwellers.
Yes.
Mesa Verde.
I think Mesa Verde sounds right.
So I'm thinking we're in that same Mesa Verde Canyonlandy kind of area.
Yeah.
And who knows? Could have been meteor. Could have been. It could have been.
I don't know if it would be a meteor necessarily, because it sounds like it was hovering and then exploded.
It says a huge orange flash. And then it quickly inflated into a giant ball bigger than the sun.
Right.
And it had a fiery looking texture to it. And suddenly it disappeared and the entire desert sky, horizon to horizon, flashed bright yellow.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like...
Yeah, who knows?
Because he said if it inflated... I guess if it was coming straight at him, it could look like it's inflating. But even then, if it was coming straight at him and then it, exploded.
And there's a flash first, and then the flash inflates.
Right.
I don't know what it is.
That's odd.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't. That would be, honestly, if I was driving, that'd be a terrifying thing to experience because,
and seconds, then that's gone.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, we didn't talk about this necessarily, but I probably should at the very least mention the fact that, you know, exhaustion while driving can lead to various hallucinations and things like that. I'm not saying that's what any of these stories were necessarily,
right?
But, you know, if as you're driving, that is also something that is a factor when it comes to a lot of these stories. As
we learned from Pete.
Yes.
And repeat.
Yes, and repeat. Well, just in general, I think, you know, there have been many studies about, you know, fatigue while doing anything, especially driving.
Right.
And unfortunately, truck drivers, you know, they are often driving fatigued. Even when they sleep, if they're sleeping in the truck, you know, that's not always the most comfortable place to sleep. And so, you know, sometimes you're the way that you are able to interpret the world is through your brain. And if long bouts of exhaustion, if they inhibit the way that you are thinking, you can hallucinate because your brain is, you know, it's doing the best it can. It's trying to, you know, keep up. Now, again, I'm not saying that is any of these experiences that we saw, but that is, especially as we, you know, we talk about a lot of these things, that's just something to keep in mind, a factor.
And I guess I want to add, though, most of these truck drivers seem almost hesitant to share their experiences.
That's also fair.
And so if I was going to share one of my experiences, I would make sure that it was an experience where I knew that, no, all of my senses were awake and alert, and it wasn't because they know, you know, and when sleep deprivation is causing stuff, you know, a lot of these are like, okay, I was getting tired, so I pulled off.
Yes. Well, that's what that's
the smartest thing to do.
That's what I won't even say that's what you're supposed to do. It's what you should do.
Yeah.
I would assume nowadays that's what you're supposed to do. I don't know if back,
right.
You know, if a few 10 or more years ago, if that was not the culture, but I feel like the culture nowadays is if you are starting to feel weary, pull over, try to sleep. Yeah, get some rest.
Well, and how many times do we hear stories, college students who go home over Thanksgiving weekend and drive fatigue and end up not making it home.
Yeah.
And it's like your body can only do so much.
Absolutely.
And taking a caffeinated drink, although some of us really love caffeinated drinks, it doesn't remove the tired.
No.
And so your brain is working, but your body is still exhausted.
Or the opposite way around as well. I mean, for me, you know, you guys might know I have ADHD, and so caffeine works a little bit, you know, uniquely with ADHD brains. But even still, I feel like often for me, the caffeine can make my body.
Okay.
The right caffeine can make, or the right, you know, mix of you know, energy drink or pre-workout can make my body amped and can make me feel like my mind is there, but the exhaustion is still there. It's just being covered over, which means I can still make very stupid mistakes because I'm not fully
and you're not reacting
aware.
The same way you should be.
Exactly. So, you know, that's just in general. This is for everyone, including any truck drivers that are listening to us right now, which, by the way, if you are, thank you. And I hope you're listening to it through podcast. And if so, let the podcast app that you're on know once you've pulled over and, you know, you're in a safe place. let everyone know how you feel, what you think about what you think about us. But, you know, always as you're driving, just, you know, keep in mind how fatigued you are, and you know, be aware of your body and your mind, and try to make safe decisions.
And your life is worth much more than a few minutes.
Yes.
Or a few hours.
Yes. Or a text. Also, don't text and drive.
Well, we've done the public service announcements for the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the government didn't even pay us for it this time.
Thank you so much for listening and being part of this. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're a truck driver or related to a truck driving, you've got cool stories, let us know at Voices VFT, Voices from the.
Yep.
So VFTattic@gmail.com. Or just give us a message underneath our YouTube, or I think even through our podcast, we can get fan mail.
Absolutely.
So
we sure can.
We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. We love being able to read your guys' comments, and we love seeing all the different messages that you guys share with us. It's just been very positive so far, which is not the normal YouTube experience. From what I've heard and understand, it's a great experience, and I appreciate it. Now, that being said, the bigger we get, the more people will get eyes on us, and that,
But that's okay. You guys will love us.
But you guys will, yeah. You guys, we appreciate you guys having been here for as long as you have, whether it's this episode or it was, episode number 1. We appreciate that you guys are here, and we're glad that you keep coming back, and we are excited to keep making more stuff for you.
And the next couple episodes are going to be kind of fun.
Yes.
My daughter Jen is coming in. She lives in the Atlanta, Georgia area.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be talking about theaters and theater ghosts. Jen's got some personal experiences from that. And then we're going to do another one with her. She just called me this week, and she went on a tour of a plantation in Georgia.
Ooh, talk about somewhere that has a lot of energy.
And she had this very interesting experience when she was there.
That we will let her tell you guys.
We'll let her tell you those. So that's going to we're going to have an extra person sitting at the table.
Which means we get to figure out how to have 3 people on this table.
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Ash just gave us the thumbs up
with
a wearied smile. No, it'll be great. We're excited. Eventually, we also are, later on, what we're hoping to eventually be able to have other people on the podcast, including people call in.
Right.
Have interviews.
Or we might need to, and we need to talk to Ash about this, we might need to do some kind of live streaming thing, because that would probably work best, because we've got some other podcasters who we really enjoy, who enjoy our podcast.
As well as some other people that some experts that have agreed to being interviewed.
We're going to have to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And then we also, the campfire one.
Yes.
So we're outside, voices from the campfire,
honestly,
which would be fun.
Personally, you guys let us know. Do you guys think that a campfire one would be better for the summer? Or do you think it might be better reserved for, say, Halloween time?
It could be cold and rainy.
It could also be cold and rainy. But we are kind of in the mindset as well of trying to figure out, we're, trying to plan ahead and everything. And so we're trying to come up with some fun Halloween stuff. So if you do have some extra spooky stories that you love to have us share,
or some ideas
that you would love to hear for Halloween, for spooky season. I feel like September is the beginning of spooky season.
Oh yeah, as soon as you can. It's like I start decorating for Christmas like right after Halloween. So we can start doing in August. We can do Halloween.
That's fair.
That's kind of our lives. So
yeah. But just let us know what thoughts, ideas, stories, or whatever else you'd like us to know. Let us know in the comments or email us, like was already said, at VFTattic, voices from the attic, at gmail.com.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.